Okay.
Param vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam,
Total victory.
total world victory of Hare Krishna.
I was gonna say victoria total.
Yeah, Victoria Universal de Hare Krishna.
Sí.
Let's try dropping off the VPN and see if that speeds up this connection, because it's not very fast. All right. Okay, it's Bhagavad-gītā, the Song of God, as it is by His divine grace, Su Divina Gracia, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness, text number 10. You want to do the Sanskrit today?
Sure. brahmaṇi ādhāya karmāṇi saṅgam tyaktvā karoti lipyate sa pāpena padma-patram ivāmbhasā brahmaṇi
The Supreme Personality of Godhead,
ādhāya
resigning unto
karmāṇi
all works,
saṅgam
attachment,
tyaktvā
giving up,
karoti
performs,
one
who
lipyate
is affected,
nāma-rūpam
never, he,
pāpena
by sin,
padma-patram
lotus leaf,
iva
like
ambhasā.
in the water.
Beautiful.
Translation: one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by the water. Rather, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Here, brahmaṇi means in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. The material world is a sum total manifestation of the three modes of material nature, technically called the pradhāna. The Vedic hymns, sarvam etad brahma, tasmād etad brahma, nāma-rūpam annaṁ cha jayate, and in the Bhagavad-gītā, mama yonir mahad brahma, indicate that everything in the material world is the manifestation of Brahman. And although the effects are differently manifested, they are non-different from the cause. In the Isha-Upanishad, it is said that everything is related to the Supreme Brahman or Kṛṣṇa, and thus everything belongs to him only. One who knows perfectly well that everything belongs to Kṛṣṇa, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that therefore everything is engaged in the service of the Lord, naturally has nothing to do with the results of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful.
Even one's material body being a gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. It is beyond contamination by sinful reactions, exactly as the lotus leaf, though remaining in the water is not wet. The Lord also says in the Gita, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya, resign all works unto me, Krishna. The conclusion is that a person without Krishna consciousness acts according to the concept of the material body and senses, but a person in Krishna consciousness acts according to the knowledge that the body is the property of Krishna and should therefore be engaged in the service of Krishna.
Does here you understood this?
Yeah, resign all works unto me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unto Krishna.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Dedicar. You like dedicate, devote.
I thought it's like a person saying, resign all works unto me, Krishna. Like,
Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Hola.
Hey Ian, thanks for tuning in. Okay, let's have a look at the changes. What has changed between 5 to 10? So Supreme God became Supreme Lord. Is not affected became is unaffected. 5.10. One who acts in his occupation, resigning unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead without attachment for the result, is not affected by any sinful action, as if the lotus leaf on the water. So unaffected is not affected. Is not affected is what it said. Now it says unaffected. That's not closer to the manuscript. Okay, it's not affected. Yeah, unaffected. And then Supreme God, it's unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unto the Supreme Lord. Okay. The Vedic hymns. Sarvam etad brahma mandukya Upanishad 2. Mundaka Upanishad 2.10, in the Bhagavad-gītā 4.13. That's a cool addition to add, you know?
Yeah, to have a little bit more of a understanding.
Where they come from. Yeah, so you can go and look for them. Everything is the manifestation of Brahman. Everything is a manifestation of Brahman. Let's have a look at what Purport said. Everything is related to
everything belongs to Kṛṣṇa, it says there.
Everything is related to the Supreme Brahman or Kṛṣṇa, so it comes before that. Is manifestation from Brahman. From Brahman, of Brahman. It's manifestation from Brahman. Okay.
And therefore, although...
Well, the change was just made. What does it say in here? Is there a justification for that change?
In English.
Okay. It is then beyond contamination. Can we engage? It is then beyond contamination. Oh yeah. Even one's material body, being a gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action, can be engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It is then beyond contamination by sinful reaction. Can be engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness without being affected by sinful reactions. It then is beyond being affected by sinful reactions. So the first edition editor put then. That's a necessary change, because otherwise what it's saying is even one's material body, being a gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action, can be engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It can be.
Yeah.
It is beyond contamination by sinful reactions. Well, the material body is not beyond contamination by sinful reactions unless it's being engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, which is what the verse says. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action. So it's contingent on using your material body in devotional service. So that change is kind of necessary, actually. And then Bhagavad-gītā 3.30, which is where that next verse comes from. Yeah. So in this purport here, Srila Prabhupada is The sarvam kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman. It's a manifestation of Brahman. There, even though there's variegation, it's all non-different. It's the effect, which is part of the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Everything it belongs to Supreme Brahman Kṛṣṇa. If you know that it belongs to him, he's the proprietor, everything should be engaged in his service.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, Prahlad has that job and he goes in, they have a company car, and as long as you use the company car in the service of the company, it's all good. But as soon as you use it not in that, then you're going to be punished because you shouldn't have done that. It's a crime. So the same thing here, even one's material body being a gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action can be engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and when it is, it's beyond contamination by sinful reactions.
Mm.
Your thoughts?
That's quite similar to previous verses that we done.
The
I
purport?
think you did it that in one of your classes.
Well, it's a recurring theme.
Yeah.
I mean, to the extent that it was the first thing I learned how to say in Spanish. When we were in Ecuador, I had our Spanish teacher, Vrajadam, and mine translate it for me. Todo viene del Señor, entonces todo pertenece al Señor, por lo tanto, todo debe ser utilizado en el servicio del Señor Supremo.
Eso iba a decirlo también.
¿Ah?
Lo iba a decir así también. Todo pertenece a Dios.
Hey. Yeah, everything comes
Mm.
from God, therefore everything belongs to God, therefore everything should be used in his service. Please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Que cante Hare Krishna y sea feliz.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would chant, and then I would, so then I'd stop and give that. Estamos cantando el santo nombre del Señor.
Mm.
Yeah. But this here, it's like just a basic principle. It's called the Ivāmbhasā sarvam, the Ivāmbhasā principle here.
This is a very important part. Even one's material, even one's material body being a gift of the Lord for carrying out particular type of action. I love that part, being a gift of the Lord.
It's an orientation, yeah, because you could say, the material world is a prison, it's like a reaction to my sinful activities, karmic reaction to my previous. Yeah, there's that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can look at it that way, but then you can also look at it this other way, which it's a gift for carrying out a particular type of action. It's another orientation. Two different orientations of the world. Samsara dava nala lida loka, that this world is a blazing fire of material existence. Or Prabodhananda Saraswati, Vishvam Purnam Sukayate, the world is an abode of joy. Vishvam Purna Sukayate. Vishvam, everything, the universe. Purna is full, Sukayate, of joy. The world is an abode of joy.
I guess that would be like the way how you look at life, right?
Yeah.
If you look, life is miserable, I have this body, or I have this partner, or I have this whatever. Or you can say, I have this amazing partner. My gosh, what a blessing.
Yes.
And enjoy life in that way.
Yeah, you accept everything as, just like contemporary example, you go to work and you have a company car and company expense account and all that kind of stuff. And if you do your job and you're just expensing the stuff that you're supposed to, everything's good. But if you go to work and you take the car and you feel like you're going to, I'm going to go off and do this other thing, go to the beach or whatever, and you go there, then you get in trouble for taking the company car to the wrong place. And then your expense report, gets denied because you expense some stuff that wasn't for it. And then, you get like charged with corruption or graft, and
or
then
misuse.
Yeah, and now your life sucks and you wonder what went wrong,
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you have this vision of like the universe is separate from the Lord and for your own enjoyment, and you become the supreme proprietor instead of Kṛṣṇa. That's what does it. Let's try this. Hey, Bhagavad-gītā 5.10. Gonna bust it out in Sanskrit, it's real. Yes, here it is. When he performs his duty without attachment, serene
5.10.
results. He gives a class anyway. Speaks to the concept of performing one's duty or karma without attachment to the results, a central tenet in the Bhagavad-gītā. It emphasizes the importance of surrendering the results of one's actions to the Supreme and compares a detached person to a lotus leaf, which, although in water, remains untouched by it. Okay, hang on, let's try this. Give me a commentary on that verse in the style of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Certainly. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is well known for his deep and devotional commentaries on the Bhagavad-gītā, emphasizing bhakti, devotion, and surrender to Lord Kṛṣṇa. Here's a commentary in the style of Swami Prabhupada on Bhagavad-gītā 5.10. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Kṛṣṇa, elaborates on the nature of karma yoga, the yoga of selfless action. The analogy of the lotus leaf is especially significant. Just as the lotus leaf, though in water, remains untouched by it, similarly, a devotee of the Lord, though in this material world, remains untouched by its dualities. The key principle underlined here is detachment from the fruits of one's actions. The material world is characterized by action and reaction, but one who performs his duties without attachment and dedicates the results to Kṛṣṇa transcends the cycle. Such a person is free from the bondage of karma. Lord Kṛṣṇa emphasizes surrender to him. The concept of surrender does not imply inactivity, but rather acting in accordance with divine will. When actions are performed as an offering to the Supreme, they lose their binding potency. The devotee remains unaffected, just as the lotus leaf remains dry. It is essential to understand that true detachment is not a renunciation of action, but a renunciation of desire for the fruits of action. This is the essence of karma yoga. One should act as a duty to the Supreme without personal gain in mind. By doing so, even while performing activities, one can remain situated in spiritual consciousness and achieve the ultimate goal of life, Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Please note that while this commentary is inspired by the style of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, it is a creation of mine and may not fully capture the depth and nuances of Prabhupada's teachings. Okay, some feedback.
A little bit more humble.
Of course, please go ahead and provide your feedback. I'm here to help and improve. Okay, Srila Prabhupada's style is to extensively quote from supporting Vedic literatures to establish and illustrate his points. He does this in order to demonstrate that the correct Vedic epistemology is to cite evidence from the Vedic scripture rather than from logic and example. Cite evidence from Vedic scripture, as well as to provide evidence. He also uses analogies to illustrate points. Okay, now I bet I'll take this on and we'll give it a crack. Let's try it again. Here we go. Oh, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
The wise soul who dedicates all actions to the Supreme and remains untouched by the dualities of this material world is truly liberated. As confirmed in the Isha-Upanishad 1, Prabhupada actually cites this. This is what Prabhupada's citing here. In the Isha-Upanishad, it is said that everything is related to the Supreme Brahman Kṛṣṇa, and thus everything belongs to him. It's the Isha-vasyam principle. Everything animate or inanimate within this universe is controlled and owned by the Lord, One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota. One should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kinchat jagat yam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magritha kashashvidanam. This principle of offering everything to the Supreme is not a new or alien concept, but is deeply rooted in the Vedic tradition. By offering all of one's activities to the Lord, one remains free from the bondage of karma. Just as a lotus leaf, though in water, remains untouched by it, similarly a devotee, though living in this material world, remains untouched by its contaminating influence. To further illustrate this, consider the analogy of a postman. A postman delivers letters and packages, but he does not claim ownership over them. He simply delivers them to the rightful recipients without attachment. Similarly, when one dedicates all his activities to the Supreme Lord, he is like the postman, merely delivering the results of actions without becoming entangled. The Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.41 further elucidates this point. A person who does not disturb or cause pain to others, who treats all living beings with kindness, and who is free from envy and egoism, achieves the same result as one who performs rigorous austerities or meditates deeply. Okay, I don't see how that relates, but whatever. Thus, by renouncing the fruits of one's actions and offering them to the Supreme, one achieves true freedom from the chains of material existence and walks the path of true spiritual realization.
So I just say no. No, try more. Try harder next time. Okay.
Okay, hang on, let's give it some feedback. Just tell it. There's a substantial improvement. Thank you. Try. You're welcome. Thank you for your kind words. Jai Srila Prabhupada. If you have any more questions or topics you'd like to discuss, feel free to ask. Hare Krishna. Pretty good, huh?
Oh my God.
What? Becoming a devotee.
Yeah, becoming a devotee. Okay.
Bhagavad-gītā.
Okay. He, a tangata person.
He tangata e mahi ana. Mahi ana, continuous present tense marker, work. I tana mahi, work. Kaore he whakawhitiwhiti. E tuku I ngā hua ki te ariki kaharawa. Ariki, chief, kaharawa, not sure. Kaore, that's twice, it's there. E pangia e te mahihara pera I te rau o te koura e kore I pā ki te wai.
Too many breaks.
Too many what?
Breaks.
Breaks?
Mm-hmm.
And the way I'm pronouncing it?
No, the way it's written.
Uh-huh.
Too many vocals in between.
Too many small vowels. A person who does his work without communication, who gives the results to the Almighty. What's this? Not.
What's communication?
Like a 50-50, I think it is. Let's have a look. This one here, I reckon.
Attachment.
Yeah. Any change.
Mm-hmm.
Without hesitation. Attachment.
Where is that word of communication? What is that?
Is not affected by sin, like a gold leaf is not affected by water.
Gold leaf.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a bit tough to find a lotus.
In that language.
Yeah. A lotus leaf in Te Reo. Anyway, close enough for rock and roll. Hare Krishna, brother Rawedi.
We should put it like lotus instead of like that. Just leave it as it is. Let's see if he understands. Pardon.
Achutakesha. A lobster. Golden or a lobster?
What? Lotus. It's a lobster. Okay. A lotus, baby.
Lotus.
Like a lotus leaf does not touch water. That's a bit bitter.
You know what? It doesn't look to me like the letter L occurs in Te Reo.
What is the alphabet? Oh, yeah, el alfabeto en español. En Tereo Maori. No.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting. It's worth noting that some Maori words were transliterated into English using the letter L in earlier times. One of the most notable examples is the place name Whangarei, which was sometimes written as Whangarei. Whangarei. But in the modern standardized Te Reo Māori orthography, the letter L is not used. So there you go.
In Maori, they don't have L.
No.
What?
But they don't have X either.
What?
You never noticed that?
No, because I don't see much of a Maori.
Come on, we've been doing it for weeks now.
Well,
Subset, Here we go. The following letters are not in there. B, D, J, L, Q, V, X, Y, and Z.
That's boring.
Hmm?
That's boring.
Well, I don't know if it's boring.
Those letters are pretty much used. But anyways, in Maori, I guess they don't need it.
They don't use them.
No.
Interesting, huh? Those sounds don't exist.
Z. Wow. D.
But then there are sounds in English which don't have like
Like an any?
Well, yeah, we don't use that in English.
No.
Running.
Double R.
R.
Any.
N.
Yeah. Double L.
But then there's a sound in English that's not in Spanish. You know
Double
what it is?
L. No.
Well, it's not in Castellano anyway.
What?
What is a sound in English? We'll ask here. That does not exist in Castellano. Theta.
No, we do.
No, you don't.
We do use.
Not in Castilian, you don't. And no sh either. That's why.
Sí utilizamos la SH. Shaman.
Shaman.
Yeah.
Shaman.
El shaman.
Shaman. And then there's no shaman is a loan word, but no, the theta sound. That's why Spanish-speaking people have trouble to say the.
Da.
Or thin.
Thin.
Yeah.
We do use the zeta, like the las zetas o el zoológico.
No, theta.
Yeah, theta.
Like that. Theta.
No teta. We don't utilizar la teta. We utiliza la zeta.
Yeah.
La zeta, la cebra.
Zebra?
Yeah, la zebra.
Yes, zebra.
Zebra is the what is the horse looking thing?
Oh, yeah, the zebra.
The zebra. Yeah, zebra.
Okay, here we go. Back to this. Brahmaṇyadaya karmāṇi saṅgam tyaktvā karoti lipyate pāpena padma-patram ivāmbhasā.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful actions, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water.
Param vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Adios, Rodi.